What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Let Him Cook. Tonight we're making some Japanese curry. We're going to talk about some deep thoughts, and we're going to start the journey of going through basically every music video I've ever made. I thought it would be cool to look back and do a series, kind of sharing them, especially now that I've got my screen sharing software all figured out. So if you're on YouTube or if you're on Instagram, make sure you sound off in the comments. Let me know that you're here. And I'm juggling a lot of stuff at once, so if there's ever a problem with the audio or the connection, please let me know. I'm going to give folks a few minutes to filter in. And while I do that, we're going to go ahead and start off by sharing the Through the Night music video that just came out. Now, I know we've talked about it a lot over the last few weeks, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that one. But I feel like I would be amiss if we didn't talk about it just a little bit. So, you're going to see me looking over here to the left a lot. I've got a lot of new stuff going on. What's up, Callista? Is everything working okay over on YouTube? It looks like Instagram is all right. So I'm going to pull that out to the side. Again, I'm adding new features every week, trying to get things really streamlined. So, let's switch over here, go to our screen share. And you guys should be able to now see a YouTube window just above me, and hopefully the audio comes through as well. Again, tonight we're making Japanese curry. I'm going to talk about that here in just a few minutes, but I'm going to wash some dishes and get them out of the way while I play the Through the Night music video for you. Check it out. Okay, folks, I'm back. I kind of noticed partway through that the video froze on you, and I'm learning that apparently that happens if I don't have that video pulled to the front. So I can't actually monitor chat and do a screen share with you at the same time, but let me know, was the audio coming through okay? This is the first time that I've had this set up with the screen share going on, and as we go through these different music videos, I want to make sure that we don't run into any technical glitches. So I'm keeping an eye on YouTube and Instagram chat. Sound off if you noticed any problems with the visual or the audio, and I'll do my best to get those fixed. So again, that was the Through the Night music video. We've talked a lot about the behind the scenes process and what it took to bring that together. That came out just a couple of weeks ago on January 1st. So if you haven't already, add that song to your Spotify profile. Now, what we're gonna do tonight is show that one, probably the Raindrops video, and then we're gonna go all the way back to the beginning to the music video for The Roses, the first one I ever put out years ago. It actually may have been 2016, which is sort of funny considering the Instagram trend going on right now. But thank you, Brooklyn. I see that everything worked great on Instagram. We're also, again, we're gonna make some Japanese curry tonight. I already have my chicken defrosted. It's right here, so we won't have anything slowing us down. I just about finished up with these dishes. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and also play the Raindrops video for you, which released just a few months ago with the song. This video is a lot simpler. It's just a performance video, but it's a really cool song, and I think we can start talking about behind the scenes stuff there on our way to going back to the very, very beginning with The Roses. Something else I thought would be fun would be to show not only the music videos, but the different lyric videos and stuff that I've made over the years, not only for Samuel Day, the main music project, but even for Reclaimers. So we're gonna do a history dive, and this is gonna be a series. We're not gonna get through them all tonight. We'll probably just stop with The Roses this evening. So let me pop it back over to the screen share, finish up with these dishes, and then we're gonna get into tonight's recipe, a really cool Japanese curry. All right, here we go. You gotta give me one moment. I have to pull it up on YouTube. And I've got to make sure that there's no YouTube ads, because it would be painfully ironic if you all had to watch YouTube ads with me for content that I own. You can tell it's been a while since I've done this. I started showing you guys the wrong music video. That's The Roses. We're supposed to jump back to Raindrops first, then we'll get to that one. But you got a little bit of a preview of a previous era of hair there, so congratulations. All right, one more time. Samuel Day, Raindrops. Let's get this guy pulled up. And this will kick off some of our conversation here.
Recently, I heard them clawing at my walls, and steadily I heard them marching down the halls. I couldn't even sleep right, but now that I'm fine, I ought to let you know. Made a record, wasn't vibing, now I'm back. Made an effort, glad I did it. Who asked? Clear skies, now the rain is gone. We'll rise at the break of dawn. Hear my words now. I can hardly feel the raindrops anymore. My umbrella on the surface has no purpose anymore. Thought I was blind, but I found my life. Whether you rise is a car but didn't own the gas to start driving my path. And every day felt like it was the last, and that's the case until you crash and find a path that isn't treaded very often. Then you laugh. You realize your life is not like his or hers or even mine, but if you put in time to think about it, I'm sure that you'll find that maybe what you're really searching for is not your peace of mind. You're searching for a victory that has already been defined. Because I made a record, wasn't vibing, now I'm back. Made an effort, glad I did it. Who asked? Clear skies, now the rain is gone. I will rise at the break of dawn. I can hardly feel the raindrops anymore. My umbrella on the surface has no purpose anymore. Thought I was blind, but I found my light. Whether you rise is for you to decide. I can hardly feel the raindrops anymore. My umbrella on the surface has no purpose anymore. Thought I was blind, but I found my light. Whether you rise is for you to decide. It's for you to decide. It's for
All right, guys. So that was Raindrops. That came out just a handful of months ago. And like we were saying before, that song was written by my good friend Nathan Abney. And what I wanted to do was do a cover kind of at the end of last year to warm up the audience and warm up the Spotify algorithm for when Through the Night came out. So Through the Night, with all of its big production, multiple location video shoot downtown at a New Year's Eve house party, the costumes, all the actors and stuff. Raindrops was a lot simpler. I just shot a really straightforward performance video 10 feet from where I'm standing, just right here in my apartment. So I think obviously very different levels of production value in those, but they both look good and I'm happy with that. So let's talk about curry. Tonight we're making a Japanese curry using some Japanese curry cubes. Now I'm doubling this recipe, so I'm using 2 of these. And last time we talked about the differences between curry in different ethnic styles of cooking. I'm not a total expert, but curry is a very, very broad term that just basically means a bunch of spices thrown together in some kind of sauce. So there are commonalities about those spices kind of from culture to culture, but there's some pretty major differences in the ingredients as well. We talked last time about how Thai curry usually has like a coconut milk base and is sweeter. Indian curries tend to be kind of usually more savory, but they lean into a tomato base often or like a mild neutral yogurt base. Tonight we're making Japanese curry though, which is, in my opinion, really accessible to like the Western palate, to those of us who are just from the United States, right? This tends to taste a lot like a really savory gravy. I normally like the medium version. Today I just have the mild, so not quite as exciting. But you'll see what's on the inside of this is a lot like bouillon cubes. It comes in these solid blocks that you break down and make. And normally what I've done is made this as a slow cooker recipe, but tonight I'm gonna do it the proper way. We're gonna do it in a pot, kind of like you would fry it in a pan. So let's read these instructions here. We are going to need 2 pounds of chicken, a bunch of onion, carrots, potatoes. I already am realizing that I've made a pretty critical mistake. I should have chopped my vegetables first before I put all this raw chicken. on my cutting board, but that's okay. I've got another small cutting board. We'll use that. So let's get our vegetables out that we're going to add to this. I have half a red onion that I saved from last time. I've got some carrot chips, and these I shouldn't need to do a lot of, I don't even think I need to cut these at all. They're basically pre-cut. And finally,
I have a potato.
Jay Fitz says, that's on my list to try. By the way, if you're someone that I know personally and you hear me call you by your handle instead of your real name, it's just because I'm trying to do my best to just respect people's actual identities on the internet. So if your name is in your internet handle, I'm just going to call you by your name. But if you've got like a username and I can see that, I'll probably refer to you that way. Just as this scales, I want to be conscious of that as we get more and more viewers. So we've got our potato here, basic russet potato, I believe. And I'm gonna start off by, I leave the skin on. I don't care about skinning the potato, dude. That's extra work. I don't mind eating the potato skin. Once it's cooked, it's just a little bit of texture. But I am going to clean it off with my vegetable brush. Make sure that there's no dirt or anything else on the outside that we don't want. So I'm just running it under water and scrubbing it down. Like I said, I kind of made a mistake. I should have done my vegetables first, and then I could have put this raw chicken on my cutting board without any reservation. I have a small cutting board over here that's honestly a lot smaller than I wish it was, but it is cute. Isn't that wonderful? So we're going to start off by cutting this potato. We're going to use the whole thing since we are doubling this recipe. I'm trying to make a lot because I've got some events coming up this week. Normally this live stream would have been on a Tuesday night, sometimes a Thursday, but usually I try to do these on Tuesdays. But this week I have stuff going on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings. So if this was going to happen, Monday it was. Okay, so we're going to start off by dicing this potato. Call me Cal 2.5. What your name is in your name is in your username on YouTube, so I don't know if there's a lot I can do for you. Same thing with Francesco. Oh, Francesco official. Okay. Not actually who I thought it was. Might be who I think it is, may not be who I think it is. So, what's up? Thanks for jumping into the stream. So, as I'm cutting these potatoes, as I'm dicing these out, I want to share with you, I think, man, the more I do this, the more I realize that there are sort of segments to what we talk about. There's music-related stuff, there's just sort of fun conversation, and then there's deep thoughts, right? So the deep thought for tonight is something that was in a reel that I posted the other day. And I'm not going to go into it too deeply yet. We'll get to that a little bit later. But I want to plant the seed in your mind now. I posted a reel the other day where I talked about this idea where I said, fast the past. So set the past aside, put it out of your mind for very specific reasons, for very purposeful intent. Not saying we don't remember the past, not saying that we don't deal with it, but you can find that on my Instagram, on my TikTok. I go into some details, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But I want you just let that simmer in your brain right now. So we'll talk about it later. Fast the past. What's up, Fatima? Tonight I'm making a basic, she asked, what are you making? We're live on Instagram and YouTube, so if I repeat myself a lot, it's because I'm responding to both chats. Fatima, we are making, and excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your name at all, but we're making Japanese curry tonight. So I've got my raw chicken set over to the side here. I have my Japanese curry cubes. So we're working on prepping our vegetables at the moment before we get into the exciting part. There we go. Our potato is fully diced. Let's actually read through this recipe so we can kind of get a mental map of where we're going. So we have our chicken, our onion, carrot, and potatoes. We're going to use some cooking oil. I've got some avocado oil down over there, and then obviously some water. The directions say we're going to stir fry the meat and the vegetables with the oil in a large skillet on medium heat for approximately 5 minutes. I'm going to use a pot. Since I've doubled this recipe, I don't want things to spill over, and a pot will just keep it safe. After that, we'll add water and bring to a boil. We'll cover and simmer that until the ingredients are tender for about 15 minutes, and then we'll add the curry blocks at the end to turn that into a really nice gravy. So, what's nice about this is as I get my vegetables chopped, I can just sort of dump them into my pot over here. So I'm going to go ahead and get my cooking oil placed down in the base of this pot so things don't want to stick, and add our vegetables and our chicken as we get them prepped. So, originally this called for 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. Since we're doubling this, that means we're going to need 2. I'm not too concerned about being exact with the amount of cooking oil. I'll probably add just a little bit more than the recipe calls for because I'm not into it when things stick to my pan. There we go. That should be fine. I'm using avocado oil because some friends turned me onto it recently. Told me it's got a lower smoke point than olive oil, which is what I was constantly using. So shout out to my friends for letting me know. Okay, so we've got our oil down in the bottom of our pot. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and just start warming this up a little bit on like a low to medium setting. Because once we're really, really ready, we're going to stir fry this. So let's just kind of get this, just put it on low. We're going to add our diced potatoes. Move on. We'll throw our carrots in there next. And then we'll move on to the onion. I'm putting off the onion as long as I can because you guys already know about my struggle with onions. All right, cool. Next up, let's throw in some carrot chips. What I like about these is I don't have to prep them at all. They come pre-cut. I'm not really measuring this out. I am very scientifically eyeballing it. I'll throw some carrot chips in there. I guess I could cut these because they're pretty big. Like some of these medallions are pretty big, but I still don't think that's much of a problem. Okay, that seems all right. And I guess you can't really see what's going on in the pot, so get over here. Let me see if I can, there we go. You can kind of see what's happening here. Next, we're gonna add this onion. So we've got our carrots and our potatoes in the pot in a bed of avocado oil. Now we're gonna return back over here and work on this onion. I'm gonna do my best to get through this without feeling like I went through some chemical warfare. Pray for me right now. Get this outer skin off. So let's go back, let's talk a little bit about the history of these music videos. So a lot of you have already seen the video for Through the Night. I just showed you the performance video for Raindrops, but the very first music video I ever came out with was for a song called The Roses, which was actually the first single I ever released. When I started my music career, I was releasing both hard rock and pop music all under the same name. I was all over the place, and I was kind of convinced that that was the future. I didn't realize how strange and eclectic my music tastes were. I lived in a little bit of a bubble. But this song, The Roses, I still think was a great choice for me to start things off with. It's very singer-songwritery. It's kind of like an acoustic pop rock track. And my purpose behind it was that I wanted to honor my family. There's a phrase that says something along the lines of give them the roses while they're here. The idea being, like, tell the people that you love them, quite honestly, while they're alive and here on the earth. And so I thought that was a solid, good theme and foundation to start my career as an artist with. So it was the first single I ever put out. Years later, I started learning how to make music videos as best as I could just on my own, trying to learn from the internet, and I think this video came out, and again, I think it was like 2016, so YouTube tutorials weren't what they are today. So I learned as much as I could. I didn't have a lot of budget. I was just kind of saving up money, but I still wanted to make things the best they could be, because if you know anything about me, man, I want stuff to look top tier. I want stuff to look Hollywood. I believe in excellence, not being paralyzed by perfection, but I think a lot of people, well, let's just leave it at the fact that I value excellence a lot in those kinds of things. So I was blessed enough to get a good camera, a Sony a7S II, which I still use to this day. And I got honestly, some cheap photography lenses that could still be used to make video look pretty good. And I started learning about ISO and shutter speed and pulling focus and color grading and lighting and set design, everything I could, just in my lonely little bedroom, to the best of my ability. I built a set in the backyard of our church with a projection screen and some lamps and some totems, some items from my family and my life growing up, going all the way back to my great-grandparents in Germany. And we built this outdoor set with candles and a projection screen and furniture on a cold night in the middle of the fall. And that tends to be when I shoot music videos a lot, because there's no humidity. So in the cold of the dry fall, you tend to not have to worry about like your hair being crazy or your skin being oily and full of sweat. But what that also means is that you have to deal with the cold sometimes. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Got our vegetables in here, and then we'll work on our chicken next. And I knew I wanted this to be pretty, elegant, and cinematic, with a lot of throwback, honestly, home movie footage from my family and from my childhood. So for months, I started pouring through VHS tapes, digitizing VHS tapes of family trips to see my great-grandparents in Germany, of myself when I was a baby, and my mom was, I guess, about the age I am now. And I wanted to make sure I highlighted a different member of the family each time. So I am going to dice this raw chicken, and while I do that, I'm going to show you the very first music video I ever put out for the Roses. Now, don't make fun of my hair. If you need me to explain my hair, I'll explain it. But check this out while I dice this chicken. And if it takes me a moment to get back with you when the video ends, don't panic. I just have raw chicken on my hands, and I have to wash my hands before I touch my computer again. All right, I'll be right back.
I make.
Okay, so that's the first one. Man, so much has changed since then. I feel like, first of all, I'm still very happy with the quality of that video. The way that we shot that, I literally, I had to set up everything more or less by myself, and then I had a couple friends that came, they helped me set up the set, but what I mean by set it up myself is the technical aspect of everything, the lighting design, the set design, and I did have some friends help me move all the stuff, and then I had friends operating the camera who, like, they weren't trained camera operators, except that I trained them. We built a dolly track for the camera out of PVC pipe. No, I'm sorry, a family friend actually built this for me out of PVC pipe and this roller with roller blades on it. So we put the tripod on there, and I had taught them how to pull focus as we did those pushes in and out. Autofocus was not what it is today, so we were kind of pulling all the focus manually by hand. The candles kept getting blown out, so we had to relight them between all the takes. And then it took months of editing afterward, because I won't bore you with the details, but there were a bunch of problems with the exposure of the footage, and again, the software isn't what it is today, so there was a lot of hand animating that had to happen. You'll also notice, like, man, I sang differently then. I wasn't as good of a songwriter. I still love that song, but the song is probably a little longer than it needs to be. You can hear the difference in... You could tell that at that time, I was trying to sing everything like a rock singer, and so when it came to something like a ballad or a pop track, I hadn't quite figured out vocally how to stylistically approach those things yet. So I still love that piece. Jay Fitz says the memories and the feels, man. I know, that was probably kind of the beginning of your era when that was coming out. A lot of people. And, you know, it's interesting that I wanted to make that video you saw there. That thing. Be emotional. I'm not gonna hurt you. Know what it process is going to and things like that too. And things like that too. Isn't unforgiving interacted with, should we say something up? It's like, well, nice. What do I sitting at? I often think spiritual of it's not that I act like it's not that or I leave them out of my test things up. Has already been made about it. Jesus has already done what he did. I've already made my decision about it. It's dealt with. So at least for this amount of time, I'm going to refuse to even think about it. I'm going to refuse to even pick it up. That's not enough. I've learned that over the years. That's not enough. It's not enough to just say no to something. You have to replace it with something else. Or it's a vacuum of space that something is going to fill. And so I was like, okay, anytime that tries to come back up, I'm going to replace it with what the Word of God says. So that's our deep thought for the day, is fast the past. Maybe you need to fast the past. But it's true that we go beyond and revisit certain... Working through some of those things. Okay, it's second. No, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to pick that. These ingredients, chicken is cooked. These ingredients, chicken is cooked properly. That cup here. Jay Fitz says my video won't stop buffering. Jay Fitz says my video won't stop buffering and skip. So we'll go 2. And then another 2. Music video. Every at least the budget range that I had. And now is that you really enjoy it and want to do it. If you say you feel like you're called to do it, then you're gonna care enough. You know, that my conversation good. I feel like what I see that I mean it at. Man, to just learn and make whatever we want to learn and make. Water has been brought to a boil. And because I'm in a